be on the phone, and it's so lovely just to see you all. So
Yeah.
that's it.
We feel the same, Harry.
Oh, that's nice.
It's nice to see friendly faces.
Yeah.
And Harry.
She's always like that. Okay.
You know, listen.
Maybe she cares, right? That's what I've been told.
They did.
Harry and I just finished online training, or I don't know how you call it, like a session with Aging Well. And they actually talked about lots of really good ideas how we can, you know, move our project to the, you know, next stage, or like get even more connected to you, with you. And yeah, so maybe once we have a chance with Harry to debrief and talk about it, maybe we can introduce you some ideas, and maybe you would like to, you know, welcome them and
or I can just start talking and see if I say something stupid. Which,
that's what I didn't want to do. I just thought, okay, maybe I can just say I will speak to Harry first.
the one I loved. So there were people from all over the country, but a lot of cities, which is obviously a bit different. And you had people who were like walking around the cities and sort of wave people from distance and stuff like that. But obviously we do all of Devon, so it's so big. But they were sending like packages to people in the post, like craft kits and
tea bags.
And I can't even, what did you say? Tea bags, yeah. Seeds, sunflower seeds to plant, and all sorts of things like that, which I'd love to think of some stuff we could like create a little pack and share, because as Aggie says before, we have you know a lot more than just the people on this Zoom call. We have another 40 we're in touch with on a regular basis, so, that get our
that's nice
videos, stuff like that. So yeah.
And another idea was, because we know that lots of our people we talk to, we are connect with, are struggling with over the weekends with loneliness, isolation, bit of boredness. So I was thinking, how can we maybe do that as well? So we just need to, you know, find some ideas and maybe get some support from some of you as well. And that's why Harry set up this volunteering page. So we are looking for some people who would like to help us as well with regular one-to-one calls to other people and being like befriending type of activities. So if anyone is interested, please let us know. So you would be more than welcome to join, you know, our team, and we can provide you with training and with other resources, and we can support you as well. But that's, I think, what's kind of demanding right now as a need for other people as well. We provide help. And
one of the things, Aggie, we've been doing for the last couple of years is a thing called singing for well-being, and we know that we were running this every week in the local community hub, and we'd have any 30, 40, 45 people come along every week. We would just have we'd have a guitar, sing, and all the old favourites, hand out the song sheets and that sort of thing. And a lot of old favourites and things from the past, and just common things from musicals and so on. And we know that singing, it just really makes you feel good.
yeah.
And it's not like a choir, it's just sing along or go follow the words as a group. And actually we're looking at taking this online like this now as well, so we can do it like via Zoom and just have the words and that sort of thing, and you could just sing along and chat to people and have somebody play the music and things as well. So if that's something of interest, we can extend that out to you as well.
They also think as well, don't they, that people that have got memory problems, they can still remember songs.
Well, do you know, Stella, we had a one of the gentlemen, and because supporting people with dementia is an area we really specialize in, and it supports people with either not only Alzheimer's and other dementias, but Parkinson's and other conditions. But one gentleman that would come along on a regular basis, Stella, his wife would come with him. He used to be a former professional musician, and he played in an orchestra, and he was a violinist. But he hadn't played his violin for over 3 years. His wife said he used to just pick it up and hold it every day, but couldn't play it. He came along to our Singing for Wellbeing, and I asked him to bring it with him one time. He brought his violin with him, and for the first time in 3 years, he picked it up and he started playing it. And his wife was in
It's
tears, you know,
quite emotional to see.
because it absolutely it is. And I think having that encouragement of a supportive group as well really makes a difference. And he started playing the violin again.
I did about 3 sessions with one of the local care homes.
Yeah.
And there was what we started singing something, and I was watching one lady, and she was giving it a bit of welly, and she was really, you know, enjoying it and singing, and she wasn't looking at the written sheet, and I thought, oh, and I knew that she was one of the ladies that had got, you know, one of the dementia things, and when we stopped, she said, I remember that from Sunday school.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think, Stella, it's
If I said to her, what did you have for breakfast? She probably wouldn't have had a clue.
No. And when you look at how dementia affects the brain, it does affect short-term memory. So things that happened 5 minutes ago, this morning or whatever, you might find difficulty remembering. But things that have happened years ago and childhood side of things can be absolutely as crystal clear. So because it's ingrained in a different part of the brain, and the dementia affects short-term memory far more than it does any longer-term memory. So things that have happened years ago are absolutely crystal clear. And it's like sometimes going to church, sometimes the older hymns that we used to sing in church, you know, we remember the words of those, and people can go in and start singing those hymns again, whereas they can't remember things that have happened. You're absolutely right, that happened this morning.
So speaking about things that happened this morning and not being able to remember, we're going to test you. Let's see how you do it. No, I'm joking. Don't worry. No. But as you, I don't know if you know, but in a minute, a little while, Mark,
Toby God.
a bit about nutrition.
Yeah.
And what we were going to do, because there's quite a few of us, and we've been wanting to try this a while. We're going to try and split people into little breakout rooms. So there should be just 3, or how many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Should be about 3 people per room. And if you could just maybe say, you know, well, how your week's been, and just have a little chat. And but before we go off, we could just go around quickly and say what you had for breakfast, if to me. So go on,
So
Mike.
Mike, can we start with Mike?
Mike,
What did you have for breakfast, Mike?
Muesli and muesli.
Muesli and muesli with fruit.
Say again?
With fruit?
Still didn't catch it.
With fruit.
No, the muesli got fruit in, yeah, tropical.
Lovely.
And dried fruits.
How about yourself? Sorry, the lady there with you joined us briefly last week. 620478. You've got your.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my name's Mary.
Mary. Marri.
Marri, yeah. It's short for Marion, but nobody's ever called me Marion. They just call me Mary, so I'm known as Mary.
Lovely to have you joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I had cornflakes and toast.
Cornflakes and toast, double breakfast.
I would have liked a croissant, but I didn't have any.
How about yourself, Sue Earl? How about yourself?
I had porridge with flaked almonds and linseed and blueberries made with Oatly.
Nice. Sounds good.
It is.
I agree with you, Harry.
How about yourself? I got Kat next. Kat, how are you doing?
I had crumpets with homemade damson jam.
Ooh.
By the way, because of Kathleen, I've learned how to eat crumpets now. And I love them.
And very boring. I just have them every day.
Yeah, but they're
I
good.
love them.
Good.
What about yourself, Mark?
I had cornflakes with a cup of tea.
Oh, I had half a grapefruit, Cheerios with
Oh, sorry.
an apple and yogurt on top.
Nice. Harvey, what about yourself? What did you have for breakfast?
I had pita bread.
Okay,
Pita
well,
bread and a coffee, basic.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh,
Some
and I
people
had
say that pita bread is more healthy than like sugary, cereals.
yeah, anyway, that was what I had.
What about you, Glenys? What did you have for breakfast?
I had porridge with blueberries, and then I had a banana straight after. So,
Thank you. Julia, what about you?
I had some all bran, some prunes, and 3 pieces of fruit and 2 big mugs of tea.
Nice breakfast. Thank you. So, Krelin, what about you? What did you have for breakfast?
I had grapefruit, Reese's flakes, with gracious apple and a yogurt and 2 mugs of coffee. Black, strong.
Black, you like black coffee.
Whoa, wake up call.
Food.
Thank you. And Stella?
Marks and Spencer's hot cross bun, a banana and a coffee.
Nice. I can't remember what I've had. Oh, Tovi. We have a Tovi as well. Tovi, what did you have for breakfast, please, this morning?
I have a banana and a crunchy bran.
Nice. Do you usually have coffee or tea with your breakfast or just water?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Aggie?
As I said, I can't remember. It was bits and pieces left over from my kids from the table. I can't remember now.
What happened to the English breakfast?
Oh, my daughter Mela, she loves English breakfast.
I had English breakfast for lunch.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, we do some.
Is it something to do with age?
Maybe because Mark, you're having this session about nutrition. Maybe you can tell us a little more about that later on after we come back from our break rooms.
So just on that, Aggie, I'm just trying to do it, and it's not as easy as I was hoping.
Okay, just to check, because maybe you need to be host.
And Harry, it's worth pointing out that when you put somebody into a break room, they have to click on it. They have to click to say that.
I understand. It's just.
I think you are right now.
Yes, here we are. Thank you.
Because I had to make you a host. I was the host.
We're gonna go. So we're just gonna be there for maybe 5-6 minutes or so, and you can just there should be you in a room, and you can just say, you know, some of the nice things that you've done this week, or not so nice things. Just how are you, and just it might be nicer to have. Sometimes it's hard to have a real conversation in this group way. So right, good luck. See how this works.
And you have to click to say join.
We need to click. You just need to click join. If you see the like a window appearing on your screen.
Okay, so just yourself, Glenys.
Who am I with? I'm with you, Harry.
You can be. Is there a button
No,
there?
I thought there was a picture on that song. Just you and me. Yeah.
That's it. But is there something for you to go to a different room there? Is there a join button?
I don't know what to touch, to be honest. Tap to join the started breakout room. Is that the one?
That's the one, Glenys. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have tapped it.
You tapped it. Try one more time.
Pardon?
Try one more time. Try to tap it one more time.
If it comes up. Switch.
There?
No, I'm not there yet, no. Switch to gallery view. Join
No.
breakfast room.
Yeah, that's the one. Join breakout.
Join breakout room rather. Yeah, I've touched it.
You sure? Is it not working?
I'll try it again. Maybe I'm not touching it enough. No?
No. Very strange, Glenys.
Oh. I've been assigned, it says, to room 2 now. So
Yeah?
join. Yeah, join.
Join, yeah. Great.
Hello.
Oh,
We're back.
back. Perfect. Good to see you.
Yeah.
You survived the teleport through.
Fascinating. Never
Yeah.
done that one before.
Well, it was a waste of time because we just couldn't think of anything to say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, we did it right.
Surely not you, Stella.
I don't.
Don't believe it.
No, that's not, that's not in my vocabulary, that.
So you were with were you with Marg and
Mark, when they
Julia.
popped up, we all started laughing when all the three of us were there.
All right.
wasn't
Hello,
Pam?
who are you?
We are
How
back.
dare you cut me off?
Yeah, I know. We
How
were
dare
talking.
they do that? Who's pushing the buttons?
That's it.
Harry the boss. Harry the boss.
Oh,
Harry and Aggie, I think, I wonder whether we could all ask, can I ask everybody if they would sing a nice happy birthday? It's Mary's birthday tomorrow.
Yes, of course. I totally forgot that Mary's birthday is tomorrow. You told me yesterday,
Let's
Mary.
all sing happy birthday to Mary. shall
In
we?
Polish or in English?
You do it in Polish.
We'll have one verse in each, shall we?
Yes, that'd be great.
And Tova can do it in
Danish.
Is it Danish or Dutch?
Danish.
I've got it wrong.
Danish.
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 You can do it in your, you can do it in Danish.
Oh, thank you.
Shall we start in Devon way?
Yeah.
What
We
with
start,
happy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? After three. 1, 2, 3.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear
Mary.
Happy birthday to you.
Sto lat, niech żyje nam. Jeszcze raz, niech żyje nam. Niech żyje nam. A kto? Mary!
Oh, well done.
Toby, would you like to try in your language?
Toby, do you want? Yeah, you sing it.
I can't sing it in my language, no.
Oh.
I don't know it.
You don't know it?
In Danish, no.
Oh.
No. I've lived here too long.
Exactly. She can sing in English, you know. That's a really advantage.
I did try to join in. I had a frog in my throat.
Thank you so much, Mary. We hope you have such a wonderful birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. Thank you so much.
Hey, look, for then. So that's Danish.
Okay, thank you.
You see, we even learn new language a little bit today.
Yeah. Franke Geburtstag. There we are. That's it in German. So let's throw that in.
Say it again, Stella.
Frohen Geburtstag. Happy birthday. German.
Any others? We got.
Bon anniversary.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
I reckon, Julia, you must have a couple up your sleeve from far away.
No, I haven't. No, we didn't.
Swaziland
learn very
or
much. I
somewhere
mean,
that you
almost certainly when we were in Africa and Asia, they don't sing happy birthday. I mean, no, it's a completely different song probably. And I never heard it anyhow. Yeah. In all the places I was ever. Yeah. Only in Australia, of course. But yes.
They sang happy birthday to me in Egypt. My 50th birthday was at a Bedouin encampment.
Oh, very nice.
Where I was working on reef surveys. And they had the birth of a baby, so there was a party. It actually was on my birthday, and somebody mentioned it, so they all sang happy birthday and clapped. And I will never forget it. It's a long time ago, but I remember.
Wow.
Very
Don't worry, I shall remember you as well.
Different words.
Very strange, very strange.
Maybe Mark, do you think we ask you to start your talk?
Yeah, let me share
We have-
something and I'll put it up here, a little presentation.
So shall I mute people so it won't?
Well, do we need to? Because it might be nice to ask questions if you want to, or anything, I guess.
What do you think, Mark? What would you prefer?
Well, they can ask questions if they wish.
Yeah, maybe if people wish, they can unmute themselves and ask the question, because I know that through the presentation, it's better if one person only is unmuted, because then it's just focusing on that person and there is no noises around. So if you guys have any questions, just unmute yourself and just say, hi, sorry, I just would like to have a question, please.
Are you okay with everything, Mark? I've made you co-host. So.
Okay, I'm just going to put something on here. Let me have a...
Yeah. Love that singing, by the way. I didn't think that would work, I'll be honest. It works quite well.
Have a look here. Which one are you looking at there now?
We can see the property for sale.
No, that one. Yeah, let's have a look here. I'm trying to get the right one here. No, it's not there. Where's my share screen? Well, that's not gone there.
That looks better.
Right, what are you seeing now?
Oh, nothing. We had it for a second and it disappeared again.
You did? Okay. It should be there.
Yeah, we can see.
That's it. We can see two presentations.
Oh, yeah, we've got one.
Okay, you can see that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little presentation that we put together. It's called Stay Nourished, and it's how to eat well, drink well, and age well, really. The introduction here is really that we know that how important it is to eat well, because at the end of the day, all of us, we are what we eat. Everything we eat goes into our bodies, and it goes into our cells and into our brain and every organ of the body. So it's really, really important that we eat well at any age, but it's actually even more important that we eat well as we age. And we often hear about this expression malnutrition, and malnutrition is often something that people think about as not eating enough food. But actually malnutrition is really about not eating the right foods, as well as about not eating as much food, the food that we need. So malnutrition can often be the major cause of bad health, but also as we age, we know that we are at increased risk of malnutrition because for a number of reasons. We might be the medication, we might lose appetite, so that we're not eating enough. If we're living alone, we don't always feel like cooking a larger meal. But it is important that it's not about how much we eat, it's about eating the right proportions of meals, which we'll talk on, but also having the right balance of food. Because if we don't eat the right foods, then it can have quite serious consequences on the state of our health, particularly as we age. So staying nourished, we know that 1.3 million people in the UK, or 1 in 10 people over the age of 65 are actually malnourished. 93% of those people who are malnourished actually live in their own homes in the community. But awareness of malnutrition is actually very low in the UK. A lot of people aren't always aware of the effects of malnutrition. But it also has a big effect not only on our obviously individual health, but it has a huge effect on the cost of what it's costing the country as well. And the NHS, the cost to the NHS is over £19 billion a year in trying to support people to eat well. Because of obviously, if we're not eating well, then we can have other side effects on our health, both mentally and physically. And then the NHS is obviously, it's costing the NHS to obviously treat those other conditions as well. But it's also 3 times more expensive trying to treat somebody for malnutrition than it would be helping people or educating them in the first place to try and get it right. But what we also know is that there is this cycle of hospitalizations, because people go in, a lot of people with malnutrition end up going into hospital and then out of hospital. And then a few months later, they end up back in hospital with something else again. And it's the lack of the nutrients that we eat can also, if we don't eat the right nutrients, the right vitamins, the right carbohydrates, the right proteins and so on, then that can prevent us absorbing any medications that we're taking. So the doctor may be prescribing you medications, but if you don't have the right nutrients going in, it can affect the body's ability to absorb that medication. So, and in turn, any malnourishment can cause ailments, and that can turn into infection and other diseases as well. One of the things that a lot of scientists in recent years have found is that within our stomach and our intestines and in our gut, there are millions and billions of little microbes, bacteria, and microbes that live inside our gut. But just because they're bacteria and gut microbes doesn't mean that they're nasty. In fact, they're good. That's how that's what breaks down our food. And if we eat the wrong type of food, if we eat too much sugar, too much fat, then it adjusts the imbalance of the wrong kind of microbes in our body and can have really negative effects on our health. So eating the right foods, the right vegetables, the right fruits, and in the right proportions means that we get healthy microbes, healthy bacteria in our body, and that helps keep our bones and muscles and brain healthy, because we get the right kind of microbes in our gut that digest the food and put all those nutrients back into our bodies. We know that impaired gut absorption means that treatment can be more difficult, and you end up getting into this cycle that if we're not eating the right foods, we go into hospital, we have more illness, more diseases, and then you come out of hospital, and then they recommend what you should be eating, but within a few weeks, we're back onto the old habits again, and before we know it, within a few weeks, we're back in hospital again. So you end up with this hospital. If you go into hospital and you're advised to eat the right foods, it's really important that we try and get onto that cycle of eating the right foods. So what is malnutrition? It occurs without the right balance of nutrients in the body, but it is preventable. So if we look at malnutrition in the elderly, nearly 1/3 of over 85s are at risk. Anyone of any size can be malnourished. It's not about how big you are. Malnourished is not about your weight. It's about, are you having the right nutrients in your body to keep you healthy? And it's 3 times more likely to develop complications if you're not having the right nutrients. Why does it happen? Well, it can happen because of social isolation, and this is a really good time to talk about this because of obviously the group that we're in here today. Older people living alone may feel unmotivated to prepare food or they may lack cooking skills. They may have reduced mobility, which means that shopping for food becomes difficult. They may have lower food budgets when disposable income reduces. But what we'll touch on is it doesn't have to cost a lot of money or more money to eat the right foods. It's just prioritizing the right foods. There may be stressful events, heightened emotions such as bereavement, family pressure, or financial difficulties. And the effects on medication may affect appetite and cause change of, and also oral hygiene. If somebody's got toothache or poor fitting dentures, then that may affect their appetite as well. So the first thing to do then is obviously get your dentistry taken care of, and then that could often improve somebody's appetite. Why does it happen? Our taste buds change. It's one of the things I think with aging, one of the effects of aging, we know that taste buds do change, and our appetite can change as we age. Enjoyment of food is linked to taste. As we age, our taste buds are renewed less frequency because all of our cells in our body renew themselves every few weeks or few months. We're constantly changing, but as we age, we don't generate new cells and renew our bodies as we did when we were younger. It may be difficulty having eating. So an older person may be affected by problems with chewing or swallowing. ill-fitting dentures or dry mouth, and that can affect somebody's ability to eat. They may have had surgery or illness and disease that can create a thirst or a change in appetite. We also know that somebody with memory problems or dementia may, they can forget to eat and have limited recognition of hunger. They may not, the body may not be telling them that they're hungry. They can't remember what that sensation feels like. But also our mood, people with illnesses or depression may be prone not to eat as much. So there are various reasons why somebody may not be eating as much or the right nutrition that they ought to. Taking lots of medication can affect somebody's appetite and also the ability to absorb food and nutrients. If you are taking lots of medications, it's also something to look out for. That we know that on a side subject, because I also give a lot of talks on about having falls and how to prevent falls, which is a major problem, obviously, as we age. But for people who are taking lots of medication, it increases your risk of having a fall and going to hospital. If you are taking a lot of medications for different things, it's always worthwhile asking your doctor to review the medications that you are taking. If you are taking more than 4 different types of medications a day, then it will double your risk of having a fall. 4 medications will double your risk. So ask your doctor just periodically to review the amount of medications you're taking. Do you really need them? And because often you take a medication because of a particular problem, and then they give you another medication to look at the side effects of that medication. Then they give you another medication to look at the effects of that side effects of that one. So before you know it, you're on 4, 5, 6, 10 medications. So always periodically ask your doctor, your GP, to review the amount of medicines you're taking. And sometimes after a few months, they can take you off a lot of the medications. So, and your appetite and things suddenly improve. Media, there's a lot of media reporting of obesity, people getting a lot more weight. You know, when you think about the healthiest this country has ever been, do you know when it was? Sorry, there.
World War II.
During the war.
During the war. During the Second World War was the healthiest that this country has ever been. Since the war, and particularly in the last 20 years, we've now got 68%, over 2/3 of the people in this country are obese. 2/3. Heaven forbid we'd ever have another war, because I don't think most people would ever get into the army. They're not fit enough to join the armed forces. So just hope we don't have it. So, a lot of fear of diabetes, and obviously being overweight. If we're overweight, we can also greatly increase the probability of having diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is totally avoidable just by having the right diet. And diabetes costs the NHS over £10 billion a year. Over what 10% of the NHS budget is just treating people with diabetes, which is totally avoidable if they eat the right foods. So there's often a fear of diabetes where people aren't eating. They're trying to cut back on food. They're not eating enough, but actually it's not, as we're going to talk about here this afternoon, it's not about eating too much or too little. You don't have to eat a lot, but as long as you're eating the right foods. If you only want small portions, then by eating the right portions will keep you healthy. But if you have small portions of the wrong foods, it will cause problems. So eating the right foods is more important about this. It's what you eat, not how much you eat, that is the most important. So some of the warning signs for malnutrition.
Mike, can I ask you a question, please? What is the right food? What do you mean by right food? What is the right food?
Well, we're coming on to that in a couple of slides. All right, we're going to get there. So some of the warning signs of malnutrition is maybe if your jewelry is getting too loose for you, you know, where your rings and that sort of thing used to fit you well, but now they're not fitting you as well. It's because you're losing muscle on your fingers, and your hands are getting smaller. so you're losing weight. Frequently colds or infections, because if we're eating the right foods, the right proteins, the right vitamins, then it helps to stave off infections like colds and flu. If it's taking you longer to get over those infections, it's maybe because we haven't got the right nutrients in our body. If you have difficulty keeping warm, it could be that not eating the right foods as well, because we're not generating enough energy to keep us warm. Because when we eat the right, if we're eating the right balance of carbohydrates within our diet, then that's generating energy, and the energy is what helps keep us warm. Looking at a change of skin tone, are we looking a little bit, lighter or bluer in color because we haven't got as much fat on in our skin? Persistent diarrhea or constipation, and also if you've got a lot of spoiled food in the cupboard because you're buying things on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a daily basis, but if the food is going off, it means possibly you're buying food as you always used to, but you're not eating it as you used to, because there's a lot of sell-by dates that have gone over in your cupboards, because it means you're not eating as much. How many calories do we need depends, one, if you are a man or a woman. Now, obviously, a calorie is energy, and they measure how much energy you need to burn in a day for a normal, healthy person. For someone who's not physically active, they may be sitting in their chair around the day. They may not be walking out every day, but they normally need about 1,600 calories a day. Someone who is reasonably physically active is 1,800 calories a day for a lady, and over 2,000, 2,200 for a man. Even if you're very active, and probably being very active means you're doing probably at least 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day. So for not necessarily from a retired person, but for the normal recommended number of steps to keep healthy for a man or a woman is about 10,000 steps a day to burn off the energy and the food that you're generating, but also keep your muscles healthy. But as we age, we may not be able to walk as far or for so long, but certainly walking is keeping our muscles active, and we want to try and walk and burn off the energy, but that means we've got to be putting the right number of calories into our bodies in order to burn it. And what you want to do is get in the right equilibrium, so you're putting the right calories into your body, but burning it off at a rate where it also keeps your body healthy as well. But sitting around in a chair all day is not burning. It means that your muscles are getting weaker, and also, if your muscles get weaker, you're going to be more prone to having a fall. And if you have a fall, you're more prone to having falling, breaking a hand or breaking a hip or something, or having a head injury if you fall. So eating well and having the right nutrients can also prevent you having a fall. So for someone we all need to be having at least 1,600 to 2,000 calories a day. And we'll come on to how you might know whether you're having those calories as well. Now, we also need vitamins, and we need vitamins and other nutrients like calcium. Calcium is the main element that is in our bones. So the more calcium we have, and you get calcium in milk, in cheese and dairy products. So having dairy products in your diet every day is going to rebuild the calcium to give you healthy bones. Now, obviously for women are more prone to getting osteoporosis, which is when your bones become a little bit more brittle. And that's really as a result of, after a woman has reached menopause, then the calcium in the bones tends to deteriorate more. So when women when they fall, they're more likely to break they're 3 times more likely to have a fracture in their hip than a man. because of osteoporosis and the way that osteoporosis affects the breakdown of a woman's bones compared to a man. So rebuilding those calcium through more dairy products is keeping that healthy. Vitamin D. Now you get vitamin D by exposure to sunlight. If everybody should go out into the sun for at least 15 to 30 minutes a day. Even if it's cloudy, you're still going to get the vitamin D from the sunlight coming into your body. And if you can't get out the house, then you can actually get supplements, vitamin D supplements that help. And also this COVID-19, there's a lot of research that's being done to show that vitamin D can help stave off the effects of COVID. People who have had more exposure to vitamin D are not seeing the effects of COVID compared to someone who has had vitamin D. But also vitamin D can help stave off dementia as well. There's a lot of studies showing that vitamin D can help prevent the effects of dementia. Vitamin C you get in fruits and vegetables. And we need that vitamin C because it helps heal wounds, it helps repair bones and teeth, and it helps the skin and blood vessels remain strong and healthy. We need iron. The reason that why blood is red is because of iron in the body. Iron contains hemoglobin. Sorry, the blood contains hemoglobin, which is red. If you notice what happens with iron, if you leave it outside, it oxidizes and rusts. It becomes rusty, and rust is red because it's iron oxide, and that's why our blood is red, is because of the iron that is in the red blood cells. So you need to be having iron in order to keep healthy blood. And that makes hemoglobin, which carries and stores the oxygen around our body. We need good fiber. So things like nuts and fibrous foods, and that helps with our digestion and helps with our bowel function. It helps with good digestion and keeps a healthy gut. So plenty of fibrous foods is really important in our diet every day. We also need protein. And protein helps with bones and muscles, keeps muscles strong, and with strengths. If we've got strong, healthy bones and muscles, it will reduce the risk of having a fall and injury. The other important thing is having fluids, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a couple of slides' time. It's important for everyone to remain hydrated, and we should all be having about at least 6 glasses of water a day. Now, one of the things that we often talk about is that as we age, we're more likely to get dehydrated as well compared to when we were younger. So it's more important to have fluids, and water will act as it basically flushes out a lot of the toxins in our body. Now when you were younger, you were having a cup of tea at night and always have a cup of tea. A lot of people have cups of tea before they go to bed, or tea or coffee. But tea and coffee is a diuretic. It makes you go to the toilet. So that's why people that drink, and as we age, because we haven't got as much control over our bladder as we did when we were younger, you're more likely then to get up in the night to go to the toilet. So if you find that you are getting up in the night to go to the bathroom, one of the first things to think about is, are you having a cup of tea or coffee after about 6 p.m.? Because if you cut back on drinking caffeine after 6 p.m., you're less likely to get up in the night to go to the bathroom. And most people have a fall at nighttime when they've got out of bed, the light's a little bit darker, they're still a little bit drowsy from having a bit of a sleep, and then they have a fall. So if you are worried about a fall, or you are getting up in the middle of the night, one of the first things to look at cutting back is having any tea or coffee after 6 p.m. and see if that helps you have a good night's sleep without getting up in the night to go to the loo. The last element on there is one called zinc. It's a small trace element, and we all need a little bit of zinc in our diet, because that helps us maintain a healthy immune system and fighting off infectious diseases. So where do we get all of these vitamins and calcium and zinc? And what is the diet that we need? What is a healthy diet that would give us the right level and balance of these foods? Well, We've often heard of this having 5 portions of a variety of fruit and vegetables every day, and it's so true. And the reason they talk about have your 5 portions is because all of these foods that we're about to talk about now contain all of those elements that we need. And if we get that right balance every day in our diet, you're doing the right thing to remain well nourished, and it will help make your bones, your teeth, your muscles, and your gut, and help fight off disease. So we'll run through what they are. Having a balanced plate means you've got to have a balance of carbohydrates, vegetables, fruit, dairy. Now it says oils because people think, well, aren't oils fats and you shouldn't be eating fats? Well, when we talk about oils and fats, there are good fats, but there are bad fats. It's saturated or unsaturated fats. So things like, if you think about fish, some of the fish like herrings and tuna, they're oily fish, but they're really, really good for you. It's those sort of fish, oily fish foods are brilliant for you. They've got the right kind of oils that are good for your, like cod liver oil. Take a supplement that you can take on a daily basis would be a cod liver oil tablet every day. 1 a day will help give you the right level of right level of oils that your body needs as well. And we need to be thinking about where do we get protein and what kind of fluids do we want to eat. So going back to well, what does it look like having the right kind of food? Well, here's a typical sort of eat well guide, and this is a guide that is we can send out and you can put up on your fridge. If you had this on your fridge, it's telling you what kind of foods you should be eating in your diet every day, and it's a balance of these green, yellow, red, and blue that you need in your diet every day. So, if we look at the yellow ones first. These are the carbohydrates, the breads and pasta. So that's giving you carbohydrate, and carbohydrates is what breaks down. A carbohydrate breaks down into sugar, and when sugar burns in your body with oxygen, it creates energy. So carbohydrates is what gives you energy. So if you're feeling down, you haven't got energy, you're lethargic, it may mean you want to uptake your carbohydrate and sugar level a little bit. So that carbohydrates will come in potatoes. Potatoes are very starchy. Starchy is carbohydrate. That will break down into sugar. And when sugar goes into your bloodstream and carbohydrate goes into your bloodstream, when you then breathe oxygen into your lungs, the oxygen mixes with the carbohydrate and that breaks down and creates energy. So that's what gives us energy. And any energy that we don't use gets stored as fat. So people who have more fat than other people, the reason why we build up fat, why people get fat, is because they're eating more carbohydrates than they're burning off. In an ideal situation, you're going to be eating every day, and you're going to be burning off the amount of carbohydrates that you've eaten, and then you won't get any fat. So people get fatter because they're not having enough exercise. They're not walking enough. They're not burning off the calories that they're taking in. They're taking in more calories than they're burning off. If you burn off more calories than you're eating, then you will lose weight. It's as simple as that. Calories is what gives you energy, and if you have and makes you fat. If you balance the amount of calories that you're taking in with what you're burning off, and have these other nutrients coming in, you will maintain a healthy lifestyle. You'll maintain the weight that you're at, and you'll maintain a healthy lifestyle. So calories and the starchy ones in yellow here are potatoes, cereals, porridge, bread, bagels, rice, spaghetti. That pasta and breads and starchy type foods is where you're going to find your carbohydrates. And eating that will either make you put on weight, or as you burn it off, will give you the energy. We also need in blue here the dairy product. It's the milk. It could be soya. It's cheese, yogurts, and these are the things that are going to be very rich in calcium. That are going to strengthen your bones as well, and your teeth. Then we've got the pink red area here: beans, pulses, fish, egg, meat, and other products. A lot of high protein, and that protein we need. It's going to make our bones, muscles, and organs very, very healthy. And then on the green, this is where we need to eat at least 5 portions of these, or a mixed portion of these. And an ideal meal in a day is where the more different colors of fruits and vegetables you have, the better it is. So you don't want all greens, you don't want all yellow. If you can actually vary the color, try and make a rainbow on your plate where you've got some yellows, some reds, some greens, some oranges. If you can have a varied plate of different color vegetables and fruits, that is the ideal balance of having a meal. It looks more appetizing because it's not all one color, but you've got lots of different choices here. You've got everything from bananas, you've got strawberries, you've got cabbage, peas, carrots, mushrooms, raisins, cherries. You've got some wonderful foods here, which are that's the staple, basically, fruit and vegetables. And you can live on the fruit and vegetables without the other things. If anything, I mean, if you had to choose just one group, it'd probably be the fruit and vegetables. But the balanced diet is going to be a mixture of all of these elements. If you've got a little bit of all of these in your diet every day, that is the balance. What we want to avoid is just having a diet of all yellow, because that's just going to make you fat and make you unhealthy, because you're not getting the vitamins and you're not getting the calcium. So you want a little bit of everything, and use this Eat Well guide to look at that every day and look at it and say, have I got these in my balanced diet? And you can check the label.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Mike. Just wondering, sending those out to people, and maybe if people are interested, we can. I was just wondering, maybe for the last, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or something, we could just open it up, have a bit of a chat about things, what people find find easy to get in their diet, anything that they switch up or chop and change and stuff. Don't know how many more slides you had, but I'd love to have a bit.
If I do a couple more slides, and then we can run into that, yeah?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So then these are when we talk about the vitamins you need, it's fruit. Ideally you want about at least 80 grams, two small fruits a day. You need a handful of vegetables a day. You need a little bit. You can have a little bit of cereal, like in the morning. That could be part of your because you're not looking about it all this being in one meal, but it's what you're taking over the course of the day. So you're spreading out the choice of these, so that over the course of the day you've had your vegetables, you've had your fruit, you've had some cereal, you've got your carbohydrates, and you've had a bit of dairy as well. What you don't want to be doing is sitting there having just crisps and bread all day, that sort of thing, because you're only getting one type of meal. And also we want to make sure we're getting a little bit of dairy, a little bit of protein from maybe some processed meat or fish, but also you're having your fluids on a daily basis as well. And when we think about portion sizes, a portion size is really about a handful. If you can hold it in your hand, fill your hand, that is a typical portion size. It's how much you could hold in a hand. The other thing when you go shopping is to take a look at these labels that are on the back of all the packaging, because that's actually telling you not only how many calories are in that packaging, but also is it high in fat or sugar or salt. And obviously, in an ideal world, you want to be trying to minimize the amount of sugar and salt in your diet, and trying to go for things that are more green or amber rather than the reds. So when you go shopping, look at the packaging and try and make your choice food selections based upon these servings that are on the packaging. Go for green with a little bit of amber, but try and avoid anything that's got these reds in it, because that's telling you it's high in sugars, high in salt, or very high in carbohydrates, which may not give you the balanced diet. I'll open it up to you, Harry.
Thank you so much. Lovely. Thank you, Mike. That was really interesting. Shall we come back to, shall I unmute everyone? Ask all to unmute. We will be back. Julia. Mute and Mike as well. Everyone. Okay, so can we come back to our normal screen so we will see each other and we will have a chance to ask you a question, Mark? Lovely. Thank you so much. That was really good. I found it really interesting, especially the second part of that with all the nutritions and what's the right food and all that. So does anyone have any questions as well? Mary, you have a question. Yes, please.
Yeah, well, my diet is a little bit more complicated. I don't know if anyone else has it, but I have something called hemochromatosis, which is iron overload, where the body can't get rid of excess iron, which means that you cannot have, like, for instance, orange juice with a meal because it increases the intake of iron. And in most vegetables, the worst things for iron are red meats.
Yes.
That's called heme food. But people think that spinach is high in iron, but that is called non-heme, which your body doesn't intake so much iron in that. It's really quite a complicated thing to work out what you're eating. And if you drink coffee with your meal, that reduces your intake of iron by 6%.
And I think with all these things, Mary, it's having that conversation with your GP as well, and adjusting adjusting your diet around any particular recommendations GP is making. Because if you are on particular medications, then the GP is going to advise you things to eat and maybe things to avoid as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you get too much iron, if your reading goes above 140 or something, then you have to go and have blood taken off so that it gets rid of the iron.
Yeah.
But it's manageable, so it's not really anything to be too concerned about.
Great, thank you for sharing that, Mary.
Sounds like we ought to get together, Mary. I'm borderline anemic, so I have to have.
So you're the opposite. You're the opposite to me.
Yeah.
Ourselves in half.
Maybe Mary can do some blood donations for you.
Yeah. To and fro.
Mark, is it right that as we get older, and because everything's slowing down, that we're not absorbing as much as we were when we were, say, 40 or 50 in our gut and in our things? I mean, I take extra vitamins. I just have a bottle of multivitamins, and it's also got zinc, because I checked on zinc, and it's very difficult to find zinc in foodstuffs to give you enough zinc. So I thought, well, I'll just take a tablet every day so that I can get my zinc apart from anything else. But is it true that, we don't absorb our vitamins and things as easily?
Yeah, there is also there's a lot of one of the conditions that can often affect us as we age is a thing called diverticulitis or diverticular disease, which is inflammation of the gut as well. So as we age, we may not be absorbing as much or as efficiently as we did when we were younger, because the lining of the stomach and the lining of the intestines can wear down a bit and isn't replacing it as it did when we were younger. So that does mean, though, Julia, that it makes it even more important that if it's not operating or working as efficiently as it did when we were younger, then it makes it important that we should be therefore eating the right foods to help it become more efficient. So if we're eating the foods out of balance, then and your body is not as efficient, then it means it's harder for those nutrients to get into your body. So if you eat a more balanced, well-balanced diet, then you're increasing the probability that the right food stuff is going to be absorbed into your body in the right proportion.
Thank you, Mark.
Where do you find zinc?
Well, actually, zinc. A lot of zinc is zinc is you don't need very much of it. You're only talking about in any meal there might only be a very small amount, a fraction of a gram. You know, you're looking at trace elements, but it's in a lot of vegetables. So if you just had, you know, your cabbage and spinach and peas and all those green vegetables and carrots, there's zinc in all of those. And in the right, if you had the right handful of vegetables, you know, that mixed balance of vegetables every day, you will be getting enough zinc that you need in your body. You don't need to be taking supplements if you eat that balanced diet.
Yeah.
The only reason you should be taking the vitamins and vitamin tablets and extra supplements is if you're not having a well-balanced diet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Any other thoughts at all or questions? I'm wondering, Mike, I don't mean to point to you too much, but I'm personally fascinated how your cooking journey's going from last week when we spoke.
But also, I would, if I can add on to that though, Harry, I think one of the hardest things that I think when we're living alone is to cook a meal for yourself that is well balanced, because you don't always feel like cooking a big meal. But it is, I think, even if you can cook a meal that is a meal for 4, and cook a bigger meal, but then freeze it.
Yeah.
Take that meal, carve it up into smaller portions, one-size portions, and put it away and freeze it, and then you've got the meal for the next week, haven't you?
That's a good idea. Anyone
That's
has
all
any
right if
questions?
you can cook.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. How are you doing with your cooking?
We won't talk about that. My diet is obviously not as it should be.
You don't have to be able to cook a lot. One of my favourites, I live on my own, is Mediterranean vegetables, and that definitely gives you a rainbow on a plate.
Oh yeah.
And you just put them all in one big roasting tin with olive oil and cook them till it's all done. So onions, garlic, aubergine, courgettes, lob some carrots, whatever you've got. Just
do you know that's
a
my
tomato.
That's my favourite as well, Sue. And that's a really good thing. Mike, you've got an oven. You can turn your oven on. You know how to use your oven. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dead simple, Mike. You do a great big baking tray of it and then divvy it up into meals, shove some in the freezer, and you've got an instant meal straight away.
Yeah.
I'll let you know next week if I'm still here.
Yeah. Mike, if all those vegetables, if you just got things like peppers, aubergines, and all those, you can put onion, all those sorts of things. You just chop them up into about 1-2-inch sort of squares and that sort of thing. Chop them all up, sprinkle it over with olive oil, put it in the oven for about 30 minutes or so. Take it out, and there's your meal. Perfect.
Yeah.
Mark,
vegetables can't kill you. They can't go raw. And
no.
I think Margaret would like to add up something.
Okay. Yeah, I do a lot of batch cooking. I don't live on my own. I live with my sister, but I do a lot of batch cooking with doing a lot of sauces with everything, like with the tomatoes, the peppers, aubergines, everything in, and then I add different things to them, I'll do a curry with some, I'll do a sweet and sour chicken or different things. I'll do meatballs with the sauce, but I make a big sauce of all different vegetables and tomatoes and passata and things like that, and then I'll adapt them to different things, and then put them in the freezer. Then we've got meals when we want them.
Yeah,
I'm a great believer in batch cooking.
Yeah,
I've got an idea. It might be quite challenging, and you don't have to participate in this one. It's really up to you guys. But I would like to take us, give us a challenge for the following week, and can each of us think of a meal and cook a meal, really nice meal, take a picture of it, send it to us, and enjoy the meal, and maybe next week we can share the pictures of each other's meals. I think this will also help us to encourage each other to maybe cook something healthy and nice within a week.
Aggie, we've got, what I'll do is I'll send you, because we've got cards for older people, simple, nutritious meal recipes with photographs and how to cook and some of those recipes, and we can send them through, and we'll get them onto Mike as well.
I was going to say, Mike,
we're going to get you doing this.
He needs them.
Please.
So, thank you all for.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And
that was really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for giving really interesting couple of weeks of sessions.
Absolutely, but please remember, it's not just the food; it's the hydration as well, and try and have at least 6 glasses of water every day.
But it doesn't have to be water, does it? You can add other things to it. You can add like fruit. You can have squash with it or something like that. Sugar-free squash or.
Absolutely, you can have squash, and it's just getting that water through your body, because it's flushing out all the toxins in your body as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of hot black currant, and I have coffee first thing in the morning, and then the rest of the day I drink hot black currant, and I drink a lot of that.
Good. And the other tip I gave was that if you are finding that you're getting up in the night going to the loo, try and cut back on any caffeine, coffee and tea after 6 p.m.
We don't have it.
What's quite convenient is I don't know if people saw in the last email that we sent out. We're actually due to be starting sessions on a Friday morning as well, at 11 till 12, which will be sort of active sessions. The first one is sort of a relaxation session. I don't know a lot about it, but it's like a hypnosis relaxation session. But we're then also going to have chair exercise, and we've got a guy called Phil coming in a few weeks as well to do just to talk about like what is a reasonable goal for exercise for you. For example, like taking account of what your health conditions might be, what your flexibility or not might be. All kinds of things, but
we will have a flamenco dance as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. So we've got lots happening next week. There's going to go back to having 2 sessions. We're going to have a session at 2 o'clock with Liz Diamond, who was before, who did a bit on creative writing and poem writing. So if you were there before for that, you'll know her. But you're welcome to join, of course, and it's quite. Contribute as much.
Really nice session with her. She's really
nice and relaxed. And then we've got our colleague Anna is coming at 3:30. Anna's she's very good at all kinds of simple craft activities. She does all kinds of things like lino prints, but they're very simple things. So I don't know what she's got planned, but she's going to do a little craft thing with us. Well, next week, so we'd love to see you there, obviously. Yeah, come along to as much as you like, and see you then, I guess.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Mark, again.
Well, thank you, Harry and Abby.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes,
thank you, Mark.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Harry and Aggie.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. See you next week, 2 o'clock and 3:30, or whichever you choose.
And Aggie, and Harry, if you want me to come back again, just drop me a line. Or
of course, I definitely will drop you a line. We will continue this conversation offline.
All righty. Take care.
Bye.